Hi, I'm Deborah Birnbaum, the president and editor-in-chief of TV Guide magazine, and I couldn't be more thrilled to welcome you to the panel for the originals. So my first question is for Julie. With such a rich cast on The Vampire Diaries, why did you choose the originals family as your spin-off characters?
Well, I think the minute we met Daniel Gillies as Elijah, it was clear that he needed to stay in the family forever, and then that just gave way to equal greatness in the form of Joseph Morgan later in the season. And then a few episodes into season 3, we meet Claire Holt's Rebecca, who was saucy and sexy and bold and wonderful. And when you realize, half of the magic of television, sure, yeah, the rating has to be good, but it's really the power of your actors and your visual storytellers. And just beginning with those 3 was so spectacular. We had to make sure that we gave them opportunity to tell their own story.
And Joseph, Claire, and Daniel, how did you feel when you found out you guys were going to be spun off into a new show?
Well, I mean, it was tremendously exciting. I think the fans really knew it before any of us, because there was a load of fan-made trailers online for the originals before it ever became a reality for us. So it was really, I retweeted many of them.
Me too.
Just encouraging feeding
Subtle.
the fire a little bit.
I know you guys would post pictures of you 3 being
family
we
forever.
Joseph and I landed over a steak dinner once.
We did. We had a
everything.
dastardly plan that somehow became a reality. So yeah, it was incredibly exciting and rewarding for us. Yeah.
Claire, how did you feel about it?
So excited. I feel like these people are my family, and I've got to work with them for so long, and they're so talented and hard-working people, and it's really a joy to go to work. So it was an honor to be asked to be involved, and I just hope that the fans love it.
And Daniel, what do you think it means for you and Elijah?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear the question.
I know the acoustics in here are tough. How did you feel when you found out that you were going to be spun off into a new show?
I was thrilled when I found out that we were doing the show. I can't believe that Julie can kind of, shoulder the burden of both these shows, and it's incredible. And it's a tribute to her, like that she sort of built this incredible universe and this amazing flagship for the 3 of us. I just feel so sort of honored that people love us. I still kind of can't get my head around it. Well, I can with these 2 guys, but I just feel like the luckiest knucklehead in the world.
So Julie, what can you tell us about the first episode? Where is that going to find our characters?
Oh, God. Well, it's a little bit of a long story, I apologize, but the first episode for us was incredibly difficult to even figure out the concept for, because, the pilot that we shot was shot for The Vampire Diaries. It was a story that fit neatly into The Vampire Diaries where it was in the season, and a lot of relationships were happening, and the timeline had to match up. And so then we were told, oh, by the way, when we launch in the fall, it will have been 9 months since anybody saw that episode, if they saw that episode, and we'd love to, kind of retell the pilot. And I was like, but I just did a pilot, and it was hard. And they're like, that's cool, you can just do another one in like a minute. And so the writers and Mike Narducci, who I brought over from The Vampire Diaries, who's brilliant and amazing, we kind of put our heads together and suffered for a very long time and landed finally on an idea of actually retelling that same series of events, that same night, where in the episode that already aired, we saw Klaus come to New Orleans to try to figure out what was going on and who was conspiring against him. And in the first episode of the originals that you'll see in October, Elijah goes to New Orleans to figure out what his brother is up to. And so we will see similar scenes and moments that we didn't actually get to see in the pilot. So in a way, we're sort of telling the whole night all over again, only it's really Elijah's point of view as he tries to solve the mystery of what his sort of troublemaker brother has gotten himself into. We're really excited about it, and I think it's going to set up the series really beautifully for somebody who's never seen it before, but also be a fun kind of Rashomon-y sort of adventure for people who actually know the pilot already vividly. You'll be able to kind of see, ooh, that fits there, and they did that then, and how cool. So with luck, it'll work.
And how's Rebecca going to end up in New Orleans?
Well, Rebecca, as we know, is in Mystic Falls during this period because she's still, hooching it up with Matt Donovan, trying to get him to trying to get him to take her to like prom and go to Europe and stuff. So, so in the first episode, she will actually still be in Mystic Falls, and then I don't know if this has been announced yet, but in the first episode of the Vampire Diaries, we will get to see Rebecca and Matt at finishing and having fun with their journey. So you get a little double dose of Rebecca. For both shows, and then something will bring her to New Orleans in the second episode with kind of hell on wheels, take no prisoners, take charge. I'm going to come here and kick some ass agenda, and it's going to be
My favorite way.
Talk about trying to find somebody to play opposite the lovely Joseph Morgan. How hard was it casting?
It was, in our heads, Marcel was this glorious, larger-than-life, charismatic, charming, big smile,
So they really blew
strong,
it.
sexy
They blew
man. And after, a year of open casting calls, we tragically weren't able to find anybody that fit that. So, wait, no, that's not Marcel. No, honestly, I think Charles walked in like day 3 of casting, and we were like, oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, sure. In fact, he walked in to do the studio and the network test because they have to go through all this rigmarole. And he walked in the room, and one of the heads of casting at the CW turned around in her chair, looked at me, and was like, mm-hmm.
Charles, were you a fan of the Vampire Diaries?
I'm sorry?
Were you a fan of the Vampire Diaries before you were cast?
Yeah, when I first saw it, I thought it really blew my mind away. I didn't really have expectations. But when I saw it, I thought, wow, it's really cool. It's really edgy, has a certain style to it. And I thought, I'd really like to be on that show. And then it kind of came around, I was on it. And then I got my own show.
Marcel seems to have it so together. Does he have any weaknesses?
Does he have any
Weaknesses.
Yes.
women? I wouldn't call it a weakness. I'd more say it's a guilty pleasure. Actually, not even
Weird
guilty.
eczema. Yeah, he has an eczema.
Any weaknesses? I don't know. I want to leave that for you guys to discover. I don't think he does. Yeah.
He's too confident. See, that's his weakness. Too confident.
He's very
That's why you're
confident.
going to fall down, mate.
Yeah.
Will we get to find out more about his backstory?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think in the episode that aired, Klaus says something to the extent of, when I left here 100 years ago, you were nothing but a little scrapper, still hurting from the whips on your back, from your history here. And we're going to delve very deeply into Marcel's backstory, and right away in the first couple episodes show flashbacks of how Klaus met Marcel for the first time, and continue to go back into the past to really show Marcel grow from a boy to a man, and what that meant as sort of Klaus's mentor and sire ultimately.
They both look great in costumes.
I'm so
Look
excited.
like Jack Sparrow, these guys.
I wish I had a picture of the
so
wardrobe
good.
fitting that we could like put up on
I
the
had a
screen.
magnificent hat that I'm hoping to wear.
No, we
like
called
a
him
three-corner-
Captain Morgan.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really cool.
I was trying for, I don't know if we'll get to wear
Very
it.
masculine.
I was like, you're like the Dread Pirate Roberts right now.
I'm desperate. Vampirates.
Are they?
Vampirates.
Vampires. That's good.
That's a spin-off.
The spin-off of the spin-off of the spin-off.
Phoebe, how did Haley get herself into this mess?
Well, do you want the birds and the bees? Sorry. I think Haley came to town looking for her family and looking for information, and she happened to meet Klaus, and I don't think that Haley and Klaus intended on their relationship going any further than that one night. There was no romance involved. It was strictly a man and a woman enjoying some whiskey, and now they're kind of just dealing with the consequence. But I'm really excited.
Consequence.
And I'm excited to kind of
Just
see
two
how
friends enjoying
Just
an innocent
two
drink
friends.
together. One thing led to another. He's been lonely for a long time, Klaus, as well. Bless him. He's had 2.5 seasons of celibacy.
It was high time,
So,
Klaus got
I
laid.
think that Haley
Just
took
had some
Klaus's
pent-up
show
energy that-
something. I gave it an excuse for Joseph to take his shirt off, so I don't know why everyone was so mad at me for doing that.
No one's complaining about that.
I got away with 2 seasons of having a shirt on the Vampire Diaries. That's got to be a record.
I come in and I was just like, things need to change around here.
End of season
Season
2.
3, right?
No, not in season
come
2.
No,
on,
you
no,
were
the
all
start.
naked. You were naked in your first shot.
End of
after-
season 2.
End of season. Oh, so 2 years. You're right.
Stay naked.
Oh yeah, say it.
He
Please.
just walks around
Then
set naked.
I-
You just
yeah,
don't
that's
get
for
to
my
see it.
free time,
It's just
and I'm
nude in
just-
his free time.
I have a one-way window in my dressing room. I like to stand naked and watch the crew.
Stare. So true.
King of the
Part of
city.
that statement is true.
It is true.
So will she try to rekindle the romance, or is that love lost forever?
I think what's going to be interesting is we're going to explore these, these 2 characters who, they don't know each other very well, and it's just, they're going to have to both work together. Whether that's, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be romantic. It's just they're going to have to
agreement or partnership is going to have to be
they're going to have to
formed
look
move
after
forward,
this
I think.
child and protect each other and the child, and yeah.
Well, and the thing is, we've already said in setting up the character that Haley was abandoned by her birth parents, and then her adopted parents, having no idea she was a werewolf, when they found out what she was, they kicked her out of the house. And as we go back in time and tell Klaus's story over again, we'll see the parallels there. So these are basically 2 survivors who no one really ever loved them properly, and that doesn't mean that they will necessarily love each other in that way, but it could give them a bond of like a kindred spirit bond that, in spite of them really not liking each other very much, may draw them together just in a way that they can actually appreciate and understand the other, as opposed to just constantly reviling and loathing the very existence of each other.
Yeah.
Daniel, why is family so important to Elijah? Why is it so important that this baby, bring everyone back together?
I don't know. It's funny that he's so devoted to that. I mean, I think that was a sort of an evolution of the character over time. I mean, he seems so sort of, kind of mercenary in the beginning. But it's lovely. I mean, I think this is sort of, Julie Plec could answer this far more elaborately and elegantly. But Julie's themes, she likes to return everything to family, and I feel honored that Elijah is sort of is quite central in themes that are dear to Julie. I can't really honestly say why. I think that he holds some place back in their collective history together, which, however long ago it was, that was special and dear to him, and he wants to build that again. I think he wants them to function in the modern world. He wants them to continue and to endure, and I think that's really really special and beautiful. I mean, I wish I was that good to my own family. I'm really not.
I don't
No, it's true. No, I mean, no, it's true. I'm not. He's totally devoted. I mean, this guy's going to be a Manny in the first season. He really is. He's going to be like nursing the kid. Oh, stop.
Uncle Elijah and
Stop it.
Auntie
What is this?
Rebecca.
You two back up. I don't know.
Do you think he still has feelings for Catherine, and how is he going to react when he finds out that Catherine's now human?
I mean, I 100% think he still has feelings for Catherine, yes. But I think the level of his devotion to his family supersedes anything.
So, Julie, how are events in Vampire Diaries going to affect the originals and vice versa?
Well, there's a million things working against that in terms of schedule and logistics and just general creativity of making 2 things happen at once. But creatively, we very much want to keep these relationships alive that we've established in one series, and the history and the rules and the mythology that got us to where we are. We're going to, in the very early stages, definitely try to make sure that somebody coming in for the first time doesn't feel like they missed half the party, which I think would be a real bummer. But there's some unfinished business for sure, and we'd like to not finish it even. We'd like to play in that world as often as we can over the course of the next few years, hopefully.
Speaking of unfinished business, can I ask about Caroline and Klaus? I figured you would do that.
Sorry, Keith.
Well,
Sorry,
Claire alone.
Phoebe.
Yeah, sorry.
Don't start.
See you later.
No, I mean, obviously, first of all, I mean, she's not here right in this moment, but she's going to be on the Vampire Diaries panel later. Candace, as an actress, has this most magnificent chemistry with everybody. So every time you see her do a scene with someone, you're like, oh gosh, they need to fall madly, deeply in love. And so we did that, and she had fallen madly and deeply in love with first, Matt and then Tyler. And for us, it was just Klaus coming in and kind of being taken with her in one little scene, in one little episode. And then we saw the scene of Joseph and doing his thing, which he does. Oh, wow. With like, oh, I show you a world of art and music, and, and like, there's just a world out there for a girl like you, Caroline. Anyway, and we as writers were like, holy crap, that's so good, and they were so exciting together that we just we wanted to stay, telling that side of the story. Not everybody is rooting for it. Some people are rooting against every single woman on the originals as a result of it. It goes both ways, but certainly it's not like she doesn't exist. If anything, she's a little bit like the Buffy to his Angel, and that she made an impact on him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's all I hear about, It's yeah.
Cole is all you hear about.
Cole,
Bring
her
Cole
and
back.
Cole, bring Cole back. Please bring. No one cares about Finn. This is what we talk about here. Poor
He's
old
such a nice
Finn.
guy too.
I know.
Nice Casper,
Such a
great
lovely,
fella.
Oh, Casper, yeah.
He's lovely.
Anyway.
No, I mean, yeah, it was really exciting to finally have a love interest on the Vampire Diaries and for it to be received so amazingly well. And also the scenes that I got to play with her then, and the side that I got to show of Klaus was really a thrill for me, So I hope we'll see more of that Klaus, be it with Caroline or whoever, or in whatever circumstance, maybe with his newborn baby, should it survive.
Should it be born?
Yeah.
We'll
So
never know.
yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for that element of the character, absolutely.
Claire, speaking of love interests, would you like to see Rebecca have a love interest? Well, we
I
love
always
Matt.
enjoy
She has
it.
about 3.
I have had many. So I imagine that she will continue her rampage through New Orleans. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to explore the history of what happened when she was in New Orleans and who she may have been with, how she may have felt about them, and I think we're really going to investigate that early on in the series, and I'm never against it, so.
She likes to make out.
Expect wigs. Expect many wigs.
Expect many wigs. Oh yeah, we're wearing lots of wigs.
So I noticed we don't have any witches on this panel, but I have to ask about the witches, especially the one who's locked up in the attic or wherever she is.
Davina.
Who is Davina, and why does she have such powers?
Well, that is the mystery, and Davina herself is a young actress named Danielle Campbell, who, so cute, literally
most
just
beautiful.
graduated from high school like 2 months ago. She lives in Chicago, and she's like, we're all tweeting pictures from the upfronts, and she's tweeting pictures from her prom. And it was so
sweet.
I mean, she's, when we met her the first time, I mean, I knew, I worked on Dawson's Creek in season 2 and was around during the pilot, and I knew Katie Holmes when we did the pilot of Dawson's Creek, and Danielle, stood in front of the camera, and I said, oh my God, this is like, I mean, she reminds me so much of what Katie at 18 was like. She's so special and beautiful, and Davina, the character, is the mystery, or one of the mysteries. Why is she in that attic? Which is my favorite set, by the way. I love it. And why does Marcel have possession of her? And how is it that he came into possession of her? And where does her strength come from? And we'll be exploring that, obviously, as soon as we get started for the first chapter of the show.
All right, I want to give you fans, a chance to ask questions. So if you want to start lining up, I'll get back to you guys in a second. But I want to ask Joseph and Charles, who do you think is smarter, Klaus or Marcel?
I mean, I got to root for Klaus, haven't I? He's got about 900 years on Marcel, so I think he's picked up a trick or two on the way. I don't know. It depends what kind of smarts you're talking about. But yeah, I think Klaus has a few tricks.
Smart
up his
answer.
sleeve.
It's a very
Marcel's
smart
probably
answer.
smarter with the ladies.
I know the smiles scare me.
He's just far more popular in general on this. He has all of the he had vampire parties. When has Klaus ever had a vampire party?
Parties are smart.
Oh, the original.
Charles, what do you think?
apart from the originals being in
I
episode
think
14?
yeah, I think Joseph's got a good point. It depends on what smarts you're talking about. I think Marcel has definitely has got some depth when it comes to the social engineering aspect. Klaus has a lot of smarts in the depth of, I don't know, menacing. He's really good at it. He's really good. I could take some lessons. So yeah, I think we'll see. That's another thing. We'll see the depths of how smart they both are.
I think they're both smart, and they both have a terrible, terrible, terrible Achilles heel, which is their ego and their temper. And so no matter how bright and smart they are, you trigger that wrong thing, and they will act like morons and completely embarrass themselves and do really terrible things in the name of ego and temper. And I think that's going to be fun, because even as they try to outwit each other, they will constantly be coming into kind of situations where one's about to win the chess match and then have a little tempered diva fit. And I mean, not the actors, of course. They'll be lovely,
No, that's going to be me
well-behaved,
tonight.
and on time and prepared. But I think that watching them each kind of come up against each other repeatedly will be a lot of fun.
And then my last question's for Julie. With the Vampire Diaries, you had the books as source material. With the originals, you've got full creative freedom. What does that allow you to do?
Well, it allows us to be really scared and really afraid of the unknown, but also really, really, really excited, because we have what most television shows don't have going in, which is already an established family dynamic and character dynamic for probably 3/5 of our characters and actors that we know. So instead of trying to find the voice of the characters or just even the backstory or the history, which is what takes so long in the first season of a show, we get to just focus on telling the story. And so far, I mean, again, knock on wood, what we've come up with is so, so, so layered and interesting and exciting. So it's a good thing.
Great. All right, I'm going to open it up to fan questions. Good question.
That is an excellent question. To me, Elijah, if and when we ever do see it, it will be very dainty with a linen napkin. I always think of Elijah like the great sort of Hannibal Lecter moment where he's sautéing up the liver and pouring himself the Chianti and laying out the silver. And I think if and when we ever see that, it will be that elegant.
Oh, that's a good question. I did a film in Montreal, and I'd love to go back and work there again, because that was so amazing. It was similar to New Orleans in a way, in that there was a lot of live music, and I loved that about New Orleans, like the live jazz bands and the kind of, you can stumble into a bar and there'll be musicians playing, which is so nice. So yeah, Montreal or somewhere in India. I really, really, really want to go to India at some point, so I'm hoping work will take me there. But yeah, I mean, I just love to travel. I do. Exploring anywhere new is a thrill for me.
It is spectacular.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Magical.
We're in love with it. There's no place like it on earth. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's in the air, you know. We were just discussing before how we all felt it was sort of strange and haunted in the most wonderful way. It's super decadent. It's to be honest, it's almost a bit of a relief to leave. No offense, because I feel like I would destroy myself there. It's actually too much fun. I think we all sort of felt that way. But it's amazing. Sorry, I don't mean to do that on behalf.
Yeah, well said.
Had
well
you guys
said,
all been
yeah.
there before? Had everybody been there before?
Not
I
before
hadn't.
the
That was
pilot,
and
no.
I actually didn't even shoot there. I just went down for a photo shoot in the beautiful cemetery. But it was my first time there, and it was so cool. But I think
It's
Daniel's right.
amazing.
I don't know how we'd survive a whole
Dead, heart attack.
and the food as well. Heart attack
Alcoholism.
for sure.
Food
Yeah.
and the music.
Yeah,
oh
the
my God,
music.
the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a beautiful city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd never work. We would just hang out. It'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
What am I gonna?
Oh yeah. Caroline. Florence.
Caroline.
Caroline.
Yeah,
That's the right answer, right?
that's all about it. No, you know what? We loved working with those
the
actors,
people,
and
right?
we made such great friends as ourselves, not as the characters. So I'm really going to miss them, and I'm thankful that we still shoot in Atlanta and we get to spend time with them. And we're shooting just at stages 10 minutes down the road. So.
Elijah moonlights as a guy who manages a mini putt, right? Just like at night or something. He's also, I mean, like he does a variety of jobs. I don't know what do we think Elijah's other job is? What else do you think, Julie?
Well, Mike Narducci thinks that you and Klaus back in the day like brought in slave labor and
That's
other
nice.
things over from
It's like great, terrific, already creating tension. So I did not consent to this, Charles. I did not. Whoa. Okay, terrific. I'll see you guys later.
No, Kevin Williamson said in season 1, he said, we'd be like, oh, so-and-so stays at the ratty roadside motel, and he'd be like, guys, they're vampires. They can compel their way into the suite at the Four Seasons. Let's, be real. And I think that we've always kind of made that our general rule, which is like between just obviously, whatever wealth they've accumulated just by being alive for all this time, anything they need, they could theoretically just take. So we like to have a little bit of fun with that, as opposed to, Elijah opening the nightclub that he,
Right.
That'd be awesome.
Petty thief.
Well,
Yeah, I'd like to know
It's
as
a
well.
husky
so,
puppy.
We just want to know boy or girl first. Just want to know boy or girl. How you gonna decorate the room?
I obviously can't give an answer to that, without, just like, well, let's just all go home and not make it serious. But I could say, if you think it through, the origins of Klaus's family and Klaus's bloodline, and Haley's bloodline, and also the rule that, we said in the Vampire Diaries, hopefully it will remain true in the originals, that vampires in their own way are like, are normal humans with fluids, et cetera, et cetera. I think that everybody will have their own opinion about what this baby is and what it means, running the gamut from the salvation to the hybrid empire to perhaps, just, hey, it's just a little kid, let it grow up and be a kid, And there'll be a million supernatural debates in between that, but it's going to be part of the fun of waiting for it to be born. Klaus is going to be naked all the time.
Take it off now. Take it off. Rip it off. Give them what they came for.
I'm not a
Are
performing
you not
monkey.
entertained? If not,
I was going to say more flashbacks, but no, I don't know.
Yeah, no, the
With
flashbacks
involving
are-
more clothes.
More curtains.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I think the flashbacks are the coolest thing that we're going to get to.
Do a little more of than we did in Vampire Diaries. And just, exploring a little more of the characters. We get more screen time because this is the original, so we get to show more sides of the characters and kind of have a little more fun, Naked. Not naked. Naked.
Just say Caroline Forbes.
Maybe naked.
I like the idea of the war, To me, the war is really exciting, and that's not in the Vampire Diaries. The Vampire Diaries is almost like just sort of surviving a lot of the time, and kind of. But I like the objective of taking back this kingdom. To me, that's the most exciting thing that we weren't doing in Mystic Falls that we're doing now. Now it has a real engine and a real purpose, and that's what's exciting to me.
I like having my best mate on the show with me. That's
Thank you
pretty
so
fun.
much. Oh, the mermaids.
You make me cry again.
Yeah. I'm just happy to be a part of it too.
Aww.